My 37M wife 44F2 too many Xanax and I was forced to call 911. Sorry for the long story, but it's my first time asking Reddit for help and I'm in a really tough spot right now. As title states, but the story starts about 4 months ago, where my wife of 15 years, having been diagnosed with BPD bipolar and MDD major depression, took it upon herself to decrease the dose of one of her medications and hid it from her therapist, psychiatrist and from me for 3 months. It didn't take a week for her to become hostile and aggressive, causing major marriage issues, big arguments and fights over the smallest things, and I only found out at the end of the 3-month period. She's a CNA, so I also found out at the end of the 3rd month that she had been having an emotional affair with one of her patients. A patient that she cared for 3 visits just before we went on vacation on that 3rd month. Side note, this is a paraplegic patient with only months left to live. I found lots of messages on her phone that she hadn't deleted yet, but it all boils down to where she said she loved him, couldn't wait to get back to see him, and they even discussed that he would never be able to do the things I could do for her sex, and she said that was fine with her. As I found this out with 2 side left on our vacation, I confronted her about it, as she had been texting the guy all day every day while on out vacation, and she vowed to cut off contact. From when I first confronted her, she blamed it on me for never praising her or making positive comments, and always only pointing out things she needs to change: lose weight to help sleep apnea and lack of energy so we can do stuff together, not addressing childhood trauma despite years of therapy, overly sensitive to slights or honest talk, etc. So as soon as we arrived back from vacation, I put my best foot forward and improved on all the areas she pointed out to me, so that at least she couldn't have that as an excuse not to do her part. I also found out at this time that she had changed her medication dose without consulting with her psychiatrist and omitted this fact from him, but she started back on the prescribed doses as we came back home, and now, lo and behold, her hostile and aggressiveness went away, so we began to have earnest conversations about repairing the relationship and things seemed to be going well. However, 15 days after returning from vacation, I caught her arriving back home from visiting the affair guy because I came home early from helping my dad with a car repair, where she deliberately left her cell phone at home so I could not see on my Find My Friends app that she had left the house. She agreed it was stupid to have done that. She didn't know what she was thinking, etc. She seemed more remorseful, started seeing a new counselor specifically for this issue, and things seemed better. Until another 2 weeks went by, when she called the guy again just to see how he was. I was furious but calm and collected and told her that her actions have now made it so that I have no choice but to doubt anything she tells me. And in the few weeks before this, I discovered she fits the profile of a covert narcissist, which explains a lot of her stuff and our problems. Then the next day, when I stupidly told her that had I known this was her personality when we were dating, it was a foolish decision to have married her, but that I am a man of my word and for me marriages are forever, then I walked out to get some firewood. As I return a few minutes later, I see her closing out hallway door behind her going towards our bedroom, with a bottle of wine almost empty, less than a wine glass in it, and a rattling bottle of pills. I followed her about a minute later after contemplating what I could do. So as I went to talk to her, I noticed that there were only 2 pills left in the bottle, which contained 15 tablets just a few days before. I pressed her on how many she took. She said 3, then 5. So I told her that because I now can have no trust in what she tells me, I had to call 911. This was the breaking point for me because she had mentioned suicidal thoughts before and Googled them recently on her phone. Paramedics and the police came and was taken away as an involuntary patient, commonly referred to as Section 12 in the US, where basically they can hold you for 72 hours against your will. She spent a day and a half at a local hospital and was transferred to a psychiatric facility, and now, because weekends don't count towards the 72 hours, she can't be released until Tuesday. Because during these last few days since last Tuesday she's had no access to her cell phone. Her family have started asking questions and I don't know what I should tell them. My wife asked to say she's in a women's depression retreat for the week and will be back on Tuesday. However, I feel that she has made me look like the bad guy for our fights for too long, especially during this last vacation, where she was taking the wrong dose of her meds. Would it be appropriate for me to just tell her family the whole thing? The emotional affair and involuntary admission to this psychiatric clinic, or should I lie for her and deal with it when she gets home, which is in 4 days? I feel like it would be okay to lie for her, but her untreated psychological conditions have gone on for far too long and I don't feel I'm responsible for covering for her anymore. Any ideas? I feel that her family should know the truth about the emotional infidelity and involuntary psychiatric treatment, as it would be a necessary step for her to start working on her vulnerable narcissistic traits, one of which is being overly sensitive about what people think about her, which, along with all the other traits, has made my life hell for 15 years. Redditor's reactions. Story 2 after. Redditor 1, if your life is hell, why are you with her? You need to start putting yourself first. If telling her family the truth will help you deal with this, then tell them. Redditor 2, I'm a man of my word bro, don't go out like this like your manhood at stake. Manhood was put in stake the moment she cheated on you. This righteousness you think you're on isn't anything more than sunk cost fallacy at play. Tell the family the truth. The whole damn truth. No sugarcoating or white lies. This isn't a hill you want to die on. Don't value a relationship that has no value in it. Redditor follow up, I agree, ditch the chivalry routine just this once, and act like a rational human being. Redditor 3, everyone is different. In your position I would be unable to be around her. She's cheating. She's refusing, unable to go no contact with her affair partner, and she attempted suicide when you finally let your frustration show. I understand there are other factors at play and her mental health is poor, but if you need time away from her, tell her that. It is then up to her what she tells her family if she needs them when you're not there for her. If you want to remain in a marriage which is making you miserable, continue to do as she asks and put up with her infidelity and her issues. Redditor 4, such borderline red flags. She needs intense therapy for learning to set boundaries. Honestly though, there's definitely attention-seeking behavior here. She took the pills where she could be saved, not in a remote area or while you were at work. You can leave. I'm a psych nurse and honestly I wouldn't date anyone with poorly managed illness. Spouses go through hell. Op answer, you hit the nail right on the head. The problem is she is on a 5th or 6th therapist over many years and none of them make any headway. At least her BPD is under control except for those 3 months where she changed her dose, so she is at least reasonable to talk to, but when it comes to things she has to change, she claims to be overwhelmed and doesn't want to talk about it anymore. My belief is that she hides all the problems when she is in front of her therapists, unless she's complaining about me, of course. Story 2. Wife 37F doesn't come home 34M. I'm with my kids in a company. How I deal with this. Hi. Me and my wife had our struggles, which is normal for a marriage, but the last 2 years have been rough. Lately her mental health declined, which saddened me, but mine has improved a lot. 2 months ago she just had depression and a burnout and didn't want to work, for a month. We have a great support system and people who work for us. One as a close friend covered everything. Since last month she returned and is able to work again, however we have big problems recently. I feel sorry for her, because she wants to sleep, complain, be depressed, doesn't want to socialize. I however cannot let that happen because we have a company to run, and 2 kids to raise. So, I'm there for her to support, but cannot pay as much attention to her, because we have employees. I have a very active life with the kids, and a good relationship with friends. It seems the more I keep going, the more she gets mad at me for the most random senseless stuff. I've been there, I know going through mental struggles is tough, but I told her I refuse to let her pull me down. I'm there for you, but I have a clear boundary because we have kids, and if I let your mood affect me, our kids' health and the company will go down. Long story short, this morning she went badass crazy, because she simply missed an appointment which is important for our son. It was his first school appointment to get to know other kids before it starts, and he is worried because he knows no one, so I think it's important. She just said no big deal, happens. I told her in a normal voice, it is one of the reason our son is not sleeping well because he is worried of not having friends. That's what this is for. You just complained about people about taking responsibility when they are in the wrong, which she did 1 minute before, but I think you just say you messed up and that's okay. She started a whole rant for 20 minutes. Kids were sleeping, I just hope they don't wake up. Disappeared, said she will work, but not come home, and doesn't know if she wants a divorce. I should get help with a marriages counselor, to which I said if you want one go ahead pick one. Her former best friend who became my friend, Because she said she cannot fully support her anymore because she knows me and her now very close and just told her that however bad she thinks I am not and she should appreciate having a husband like me. My wife disagrees. A lot of friends don't have no contact with her no more and ask me how do I deal with her. They couldn't. My answer is always the kids, and I'm the furthest thing from perfect like anyone else. Now I woke up, I'm alone with the kids. Another manager of our company is worried because we have an important company meeting today. She said last week she doesn't give a duck about the company in front of my mother, which shocked her because her image cracked now, which I tried to maintain for my family's sake. The company which she started and is in debt now that she created because of spending habit, and we can't pay employers no more. She wants me to own the company now and employers left because of her. I feel like in a ducking nightmare. I never in a million years thought this happens. We used to be a very happy couple for a long time. My kids ask me where she is. While I was typing this, my son was screaming mama in his sleep. I dodged the question where she is. Except one friend, no one knows she left, because I still want to protect her. I don't think she has an affair, neither do I think she will not come back, but I cannot act like nothing happened when she returns. She literally blames me for everything recently. Any friend who says anything positive about me she just lashes out, except one friend. No one has close contact with her no more. This is not going in a good direction. She really is a good-hearted person with an anger issue. She's a great mother and used to be a great wife. However, I understand life is not a fairy tale. What do I have to do now? I don't even want to tell her family or mine, because especially my mother will have no understanding for this. She will literally say there is no reason for a mother to act like that and will never forgive her. Literally nothing is off the table. Stay in this marriage, counseling or divorce. There aren't a lot of people I can talk to about this, because, well, I'm the problem solver in my social circle and community. Just had to get this off my chest. Thanks for reading. Edit. Update 1. After waking up and taking care of everything, dropping the kids in kindergarten and preparing everything, I went to our common friend's house to pick up her daughter, because she was up all night working for our company and knows our situation. Came to find out she is on FaceTime with her. She called and acted like nothing happened. They hung up after I walked in. I asked the friend, did she mention she was gone all night? Was she in a normal mood? Friend said, you sure she was gone? She was in a good mood and didn't mention nothing. They have a business meeting together today, which she seems to attend like nothing happened, but part of me is relieved, because we already prepare for her to not show up. We'll keep it updated if you are interested, because I want to record how this will turn out. Redditor's reactions. Story 3 after. Redditor 1. So she has severe depression and has burned out. You say you can't give her the attention she needs because you have employees. She makes a mistake and you push until she's upset, and her best friend is now your best friend. Not saying it's easy to deal with, but she needs professional support that you don't seem equipped to provide. Op answer. It's not that I don't want to give her the support she needs right now. I left the company and all social contact for the whole December for her mental support and mental health, which for anyone who has a company knows this could be financial suicide. I don't care about money, but about our kids' mental health and well-being. So no, I cannot support her right now as much as she needs. I'm her husband, not a therapist. Her best friend is not my best friend, but she became a good friend, because she actually works for free in our company, and watches our kids if I have to work and my wife disappears or needs a nap. Thanks for your insight. Redditor 2. Is your wife on medication or in counseling? If not, she needs both immediately. Op answer. None. Like I mentioned before, she got help once. Therapist says she is perfectly fine. Our friends and family disagree heavily. There is always the possibility I'm completely wrong, but I don't know what justifies leaving me with the kids and company. Redditor 3. She needs professional help. You seem to be ignoring her issues and how bad things are and carrying on as if she's not having some kind of breakdown. One of the reasons you cite for not being able to pay attention to your wife is your good relationship with your friends. Your priorities seem very skewed to everything but your wife. I understand it's difficult, but ultimately you need to do something if you want to save your marriage. The best friend? She's a problem. Stop listening to her and start listening to your wife. Redditor follow up. Op is also using his son's mental state to guilt trip his wife. No matter how calmly you say it, Telling your wife that missing a single appointment is the reason their son isn't sleeping at night is a rced move. Story 3, how long is too long? This is the best explanation I've ever read. This comes from another site, Prepare for Triggers and Flashbacks, but this is worth the read. Author unknown. Anything longer than a one-night stand or maybe few-week fling is a long-term affair and is unforgivable. Here's why. The affair is a full-on relationship. Time, emotional, physical, mental, and financial resources have all been stolen from the spouse and poured into the affair. Before even a thought of an affair begins, the marriage is dead. Maybe for years. The cheater is unhappy but feels like they cannot leave for whatever reason, but not for love of the spouse. If there was any true love left for the spouse outside of a brotherly sisterly type of relationship, it would be impossible to cheat on them. Put yourself in their shoes. Would you ever be able to cheat long term and carry on a full second life if you had anything real left for your spouse? The affair doesn't just begin the first time a physical line is crossed. It begins when the spouse starts spending an inordinate amount of time thinking or fantasizing about the other person, wondering if they might like them back, strategizing how to run into them or make conversation or get their attention, planning their physical moves. It starts when they start stalking their social media pages or doing Google searches. Asking people about them. Learning their habits, schedule, preferences, and dislikes. This is the first boundary that has been crossed. The cheater has not been seduced by someone else and has likely even been the one to pursue the other person. The cheater has carefully considered everything at risk: their spouse, their kids, the house, the extended family, religion, finances, reputation, and so on, and decided that the risk is worth it. Think about that. The cheater has weighed everything and decided that a chance with this other person, not even a guarantee of a successful relationship, just a chance, is worth it. This is the second boundary that has been crossed and the most critical, because it is signifying that all of the aforementioned considerations combined are worth losing in favor of a mere shot with this other person. So now the cheater begins to build a relationship with this other person. And of course that can't happen without a myriad of lies to the spouse. So it brings slowly at first. Talking and spending time. Arranging schedules to meet. Beginning to confide. Fantasizing about taking things further. Until they make their big move physically. The other person reciprocates and the cheater feels on top of the world. Not a thought at all about the spouse. Sure, there may be talk of guilt. But is it enough to consider stopping? Or even slowing down? Of course not, and in truth the cheater is on a high. Now the affair really gets going and emotions start coming into play. The couple is talking more, phoning more, texting more. The cheater is planning dates and experiences and ways to express his or her affection for this other person. All done with more and more lies on top of lies to the spouse. Even when home, the cheater can't stop thinking about the affair partner and now becomes irritable and more distant from the spouse and children. Maybe the spouse notices and mentions something. The cheater continues to lie and convince them that everything is fine. Then goes off to phone the affair partner and tell them all about it. The cheater is now comparing the spouse in almost every way to the affair partner. The spouse, having no idea that there is now a competition going on, doesn't stand a chance against the thrill of an affair and this new love interest. The cheater begins seeing the affair partner as superior to the spouse in many areas. Meanwhile, the thoughts of the affair partner become more intrusive to the point that the cheater is thinking about them while on dates with their spouse, while playing with their children, even while being intimate. Lies to the spouse are compounded and continue on a daily basis. Almost becoming normalized, the affair partner's bond continues to grow, and now they have inside jokes, shared hobbies, songs, movies, restaurants, anniversaries. The idea that all their time is spent in bed is a myth for long-term affairs. While the time is indeed plentiful, they spend most of their time doing regular couple things. Shopping, home repairs, cooking, cleaning, eating, sleeping. The couple will argue and make up, like regular couples. If there are children involved who have met the affair partner, huge red flag, then much time is spent with them, almost like a second family. The level of deceit continues to grow. The cheater may go directly from seeing their affair partner to an anniversary dinner with their spouse. Maybe calling their affair partner from a restaurant bathroom on Valentine's Day. The spouse receives gifts and so does the affair partner. But the affair partner is also receiving sappy cards, poems, proclamations of love, and assurances that holidays apart are necessary to keep up appearances. The cheater is now trying to decide what to do about the affair. They're in love with the affair partner but can't seem to divorce for all the reasons mentioned above. They think if they have just a bit more time an answer will come to them. They will figure it out. Maybe their spouse will leave them so they don't have to be the bad guy. Maybe the kids will grow up and leave the house before they're found out so they can leave then. Maybe they can carry on the double life forever obligation on one hand and love on the other. Throughout this they're talking to the affair partner about how confused and conflicted they are. About how in love they are but how they can't lose everything. About being so tortured having to remain in their marriage. With their spouse. The affair partner will understand and stroke their ego and support them as they struggle through difficult decisions that they've brought upon themselves. And then one day they're caught. They still hadn't made a decision so panic and beg to stay. They do the best lying of their lives to convince their spouse that they are in love with them, that they were helplessly seduced, that they had no idea what they were thinking, that they hate the affair partner, that they were manipulated with time, but that they've now seen the light and will repent for the rest of their lives. There will be plenty of tears and sobs. There will be promises and commitments. Love letters, gifts, flowers, songs. Counseling, confessions, weekend getaways, church. Frequent time. Help around the house. The betrayed spouse will be so shattered and broken that they will cling to the empty words as truth to not have to face the real level of betrayal committed. But now the spouse will have to act as a detective for years, maybe forever. They will track the cheater's whereabouts, phone, email, conversations. They will be triggered by certain locations, dates, events, songs, movies, restaurants for years, maybe forever. They will wonder how much the cheater is missing their affair partner and will deep down know that the responses are lies. They will compare themselves to the affair partner and wonder why this happened. Were they not good enough? They will always wonder if the cheater is fantasizing about the affair partner during time. They most likely are, and how they compare. They will feel weak for keeping the cheater around, essentially rewarding the person for the greatest marital betrayal. They will wonder who knows and what they think, including what they think of them for staying. They will never truly trust their spouse again, no matter how much counseling or church they attend together. And this will be like a poison they've ingested that continues to spread more and more throughout themselves and the marriage. Because deep down, where they will never admit, they know that the marriage is done. They know that the cheater doesn't love them the way they should. They know that they've been lied to, disrespected, and forsaken for another. And they know that once that happens, it can never be taken back. The love will never be the same and the marriage will never be stronger, no matter what the reconciliation industry that makes millions on your woes will try to convince you. Now the cheater, depending on their acting skills, will do their best to fake it until they make it. They will do their damnedest to hide the grief they are experiencing for losing their affair partner. They will go through all the motions to save the marriage. But they know deep down that the marriage was dead before they began the affair. That love for a long-term affair partner doesn't just go away because they've been forced to cut contact. That the love for the spouse doesn't just come back because they've been caught. Now life gets even worse for them because they're grieving the loss of their love while simultaneously trying to prove a non-existent love for their spouse. Any freedoms they may have enjoyed before are now gone for years or always. And depending on who has been told about the affair, their reputation and credibility are ruined. The lies that were bad enough during the affair are even worse now that they're trying to minimize the affair and fake feelings through marital reconstruction. The cheater will feel completely hopeless because as little chance as there was at leaving before, there's even less now. They will go through the motions understanding that their bad choices created this mess, and not wanting to hurt the betrayed spouse any further with the truth. They will put on the best act they can, but will understand that their happiness is gone now and they are stuck. Neither party will ever be truly happy in the marriage again. Redditors' reactions. Redditor 1. Pretty neat. The author forgot the part where the BS finds his her spine and kicks the WS right between the eyes and off their life forever. Now all their dreams can come true and can go running in the meadows with the AP and very very far from us. You know why? 'Cause we don't want them anymore. P.S. Good riddance. Redditor 2. Good read. Pretty spot on, mostly. One thing I'd add is that you're lucky if your WP goes through all the motions to save the relationship. Op answer, all of this leaves me with so many questions. It is spot on that this is how a lot of affairs are processed by the WP's POV. But even if the affair is full-blown love and that it's gone on for years, is it so cut and dry to say that when faced with the option of the BS or the AP that the answer to our ISNT genuine? Given that the WP does have the option to leave and pursue the AP but chooses not to? Redditor 3, this one hurt to read cause the emotions are coming back again. Duck it spot on. I need to go. Op answer, I know. I prefaced or warning of flashbacks and Tiggers. Sorry, friend. Redditor 4, creo que en muchos casos es así, pero en otros es peor. Hay mucha gente que quiere tener familia seguridad y amante aventura y creen que merecen tener ambas cosas, porque su felicidad es lo más importante del mundo. Redditor 5, see, I think even a one-night stand is unforgivable. I've been drunk, I've been lonely, I've been seduced. I never did anything when I was married. My relationships with women were standoffish the entire time I was married. I was close to maybe a 2-3 women, all fellow musicians, otherwise I stayed well away from them. If I can do it, I expect the same from women I date. Op answer, I'm not sure where my level of forgiveness lays. Who would throw away 50 years of marriage on something like that? I just don't believe one size fits all.